Welcome to a special edition of the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Joy Taylor. Today's podcast is highlighted by some of this week's best Undisputed segments. Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Props.
Guys.
They ain't got no props.
Trying to distract the audience from the truth.
I know what you were thinking, Skip Bayless.
Do you have a hand cast?
No.
In there? You need a hand cast for your right hand.
Hey, Joy Taylor,
Did you break your hand?
He was thinking, like somebody else I know, because everybody didn't RSVP, I wasn't going to have my party. Joy Taylor, they talk about, hey, you ain't going to have no party. I'm going to have me a party. I don't care what y'all doing.
Apple juice.
Yeah. Smelly. You tell me. You tell me.
Wait, now I have to do a whole show with a drunk guy?
Nah, don't worry about me.
I mean, he's definitely going to be drunk because that was the first. So did we just watch Shannon Sharp do his first shot?
Mm-hmm. Think I was going to party. I ain't like somebody else I know.
Uh-oh, we may be stepping out of bounds a lot on this show.
Yeah.
What are we partying for?
You know.
A big move? It was always nice to celebrate a big move.
No, I was planning on having a celebration because we was going to be 2 games. It was going to be 3 games to 2. Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. And since that didn't happen like that, I'm going to party anyway. I don't need anybody to come to my party that you think LeBron was going to have. Not run tell that.
So you're celebrating that you now owe me 11 cases of Diet Mountain Dew?
Man, I'm more worried about them 300 wings I got to play raw party.
That's a lot of wings. Boy,
Rob
you could
make me sick.
One of these days
you make me sick
you're
too.
gonna learn these
All y'all make me sick.
I just appreciate the fact and respect the fact that you showed up today. That's impressive.
Show up?
I didn't think you were going to be here.
Well, I'm here.
Good. Let's do it, Joy.
You will get done up, because you know right now I'm in that rage, Joy.
You had a good breakfast this morning.
Joy, you know what warm hen do to a brother?
That's what I'm saying. Make sure you have something in your stomach.
Next thing you know,
I've seen what warm hen does to a non-brother.
I'm about to start. I'm about to come up out of this green jacket like the Hawk.
Oh, my God. Let's get
we go.
started with LeBron. He reportedly punched a whiteboard in the locker room after the Cavs lost Game 1 and played the remaining 3 games with a bone contusion in his shooting hand. He averaged 34 points, 8.5 boards, and 10 assists in the series, but his scoring and field goal percentage all went down after Game 1. LeBron showed up to the post-game press conference on Friday with a cast on his hand and talked about the incident. Let's take a listen.
What happened, self-inflicted, post-game after Game 1, very emotional. For a lot of different reasons, understanding how important a Game 1 is on the road for our ball club. What would that done for us? The way we played, the calls that was made throughout the course of that game. I had emotions on, the game was taken away from us. I had emotions of you just don't get an opportunity like this on the road versus Golden State to be able to get a Game 1. And, I let the emotions get the best of me and pretty much played the last 3 games with a broken hand. So,
Shannon, how much of a pass do you give LeBron?
Well, I don't think he deserves a pass because the injury that he suffered was self-inflicted. And I can just imagine, the frustration. I'm thinking to myself, can you imagine looking at him, looking at the frustration on his face, Skip, once Ty Lue tells him that they had a timeout and you see him slump in his seat. And you're thinking, wow, man, look at the frustration that he's putting on display in front of the world to see. I can imagine what it was going to be like behind closed doors. Well, we no longer have to imagine because he was so upset that he punched the chalkboard and he ended up breaking his hand. Now, I would have felt better if he put that hand upside JR's head. Then I'd have had no problem with it, Skip Bayless. Okay, a little problem. Because we know somebody, we know somebody went around socking people all the time, don't we, Skip?
In practice?
Yeah, okay. Skip, he was always drawing dead. We saw what happened in the 51-8 ball game in the first game, and they lost in overtime. And even with a broken hand, he averaged 29, 11, and 8. So I think he should be commended for playing as well as he did. But something wasn't right, Skip. Something was not right. You're talking about a guy that went from can't miss up into Game 1, going all the way back into Toronto series, Boston series, Indiana series, a guy that couldn't miss. All of a sudden, he couldn't buy a shot outside the paint. And he went from being 74%, finishing at the rim, all the way down to 59%. Like, huh? All of a sudden, LeBron can't finish. I'm wondering, why is he always trying to get to his left hand? Why is he always trying to lay the ball up on the left side? Even when he's on the right side of the rim, he's still trying to lay the ball up with his right hand. I'm like, well, okay, hey, God's best player. The guy's the best player in the NBA, so obviously he knows something that I don't know. But Skip, you look at this. He only took 14 shots outside of the paint over the last 3 games. Because you remember, you and I was talking about it. Game 1, mid-range game, clicking, letting threes go, obviously finishing at the rim, and then all of a sudden he takes 11 3-pointers. So he got to the points game 2 through 4. It was either a 3-pointer or he was trying to get to the rim. There was nothing in between. And Golden State was like, hey, if you ain't gonna try the mid-range, we're just gonna we'll give you the 3, but we're not gonna let you get to the paint. And inserting JaVale McGee was a big deterrent in that. But I knew something wasn't right, Skip. Something just didn't seem right because I'm watching him. And I know LeBron James, and I've watched almost every game he's ever played. I watched every dribble he's almost taken. Something wasn't right. And now it's starting to add up why all of a sudden he wouldn't do anything but drive the ball and shoot 3-point shots. Skip, I do not believe, let's just say for the sake of argument, for this conversation, for this topic, LeBron James has an uninjured hand. I don't believe the final outcome would have been any different. But I do believe the numbers. Okay, so now instead of averaging 34, 10, and 9, he averages 38, 12, and 11. I believe the end result is the same. So I can't give him a pass because of the injury, because he caused the injury to himself. But don't let that fool you now, Skip. We know who still the best player on the planet is, even with a broken hand.
So I've got to clean up several things you just said.
Okay.
Number one, we're having to trust, because this came from LeBron and his inner circle, that he actually hit a chalkboard or whiteboard with his hand. So you're leaping all the way to the conclusion it was broken when he, in fact, did say, according to him and his insiders, that they did MRI it, and it was not broken. It was only a bruised hand. So
That's
can
not
we
what
at
he
least...
said.
No, he didn't say. He said
basically I played the game with a broken hand.
Okay, but that's basically because it wasn't broken. So he's saying that the pain was of a broken hand, but that the hand was not broken. Okay. So let's get that straight for the record. Okay. And now for my biggest picture takeaway, this is just pathetic and shameful for the best player on the planet, one of the greatest players ever. This doesn't deserve any pass. It deserves only ridicule. For him to come to the post-game media session and hold up a soft cast on his hand as a prop to sort of lead his blind witnesses down the path of, oh, LeBron deserves a pass and an excuse for stinking up the finals, that he stunk that finals up even worse than he did the 2011 finals in his first go-round with the Heat against the Dallas Mavericks. At least in that finals, they were up 2-1 when the chosen one turned into the frozen one. And in this one, after game 1, he and his team were just flat out pathetic. They were non-competitive. I've never seen anything quite like it from a player of LeBron's greatness. So I do not believe he had anything more than a bruised hand, if that. I do not believe, as he claimed, that he pretty much played the last 3 games with a broken hand. I'm not buying any of that. I didn't see that at all. And
so you didn't notice any difference between game 1 and games 2, 3, and 4?
You know what I noticed? I noticed that LeBron James, at the end of regulation in game 1, quit on his team. I noticed that he threw a tantrum and basically threw in the towel while sitting on the bench in a way that no great leader ever would have. Any great leader, any Shannon Sharpe or Ray Lewis would have been trying to rally the troops to that point and say, we're starting fresh. It's 0-0. In game 1 at Oakland, we have them on the ropes. And instead, LeBron continued to pout all the way into the overtime, didn't even take a shot for the first 2:26 of overtime, when, by the way, his hand, according to him, was completely 100% okay then, because he slugged the whiteboard, according to him, after that game was over. And when he finally did take 4 half-hearted shots down the stretch of overtime, he missed all 4 of them, and they got blown off the floor 17-7 in overtime. I think he quit on his team. I think his team quit on him, and they were non-competitive.
What do you mean quit on him?
I think they all just sort of threw up their hands and said, that's our leader? That's all we got?
Do you realize Kyle Korver made no shots after game 1?
Yeah.
1 of 16 from the floor. Jeff Green was 29% from the floor. He was 21% from the three. So what do you mean they quit? When did they start? In order for you to quit something, you have to
They
start.
go as their leader goes, and he went completely south on them at the end of game one. You know it, and I know it. That was the series in a nutshell, right there on the bench that we got to see the extended footage of.
Prior to the overtime, he had gone 49, 8, and 8.
Oh, it was tremendous.
So where were they at then? You say they go as he go. He was going. So where were they then?
They were in position to close the deal and win the game.
No,
LeBron James had the basketball in his hand with 7 seconds left and little Steph Curry on him at the top of the circle. Close the deal. Take the do or die shot, the win or lose shot, a jump shot, like you just said. He was 7 of 14 outside the paint. I've never seen him shoot the ball better from distance in a big game than he had in game one.
You make my point for me.
Okay, just shoot it. Okay. Shoot the shot.
Think about this, Skip.
And he passed to George Hill? Really?
I really appreciate you making my point for me, because guess what? He was 7 of 14 from the mid-range game in game one. He only attempted 11 mid-range shots, 2, 3, and 4. So you're making my point for me. I really appreciate that.
Here's the actual point. His inner circle has a history of leaking excuses to the media when he flames out in big playoff series, and it started all the way back in his first go-around in Cleveland, just before he took his talents to South Beach against the Boston Celtics. They were up 2-1, and chosen one went frozen one in games 4, 5, and 6. They lost all 3, and immediately inner circle leaked that LeBron had to be, and I'm just quoting what all the reporters said, had to be sedated before each of games 4, 5, and 6 because of a locker room issue with the team. Are you kidding me? I called out LeBron for that one, and I'm going to call him out for this excuse again this time.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. You say, okay, that got leaked, and it was his camp that put that information out. Now his camp doesn't put this out. He knows it's going to get out, because here's the thing. If he doesn't come to the press conference, or he doesn't acknowledge that he has an injured hand, what's going to happen is the same thing that happened after that 2010 loss. It's going to get out, and you're going to say, bull jive. So now it gets out. Well,
it got out of me. Within a couple of minutes after the game was over, it was leaked.
Because he's trying to get in front of the story. Because, Skip, he's not making any
story.
There is no excuse to be made. The Golden State Warriors have the better team. And even though they have the better team, he averaged 34, 11, and 9, and they still lost. Last year, he was 34, 12, and 10, and they still lost. So I don't believe, Skip, even if he doesn't break his hand, or if he doesn't injure his hand, or he doesn't have a bone bruise on the hand, I believe the end results would have been the same. But the fact of the matter is, it's just like Tom Brady. Tom Brady told you what happened, right?
Yeah, he was not ahead of it. He's just declaring, because the NFL actually has a strict injury policy under which you must declare your injuries. Now, Bill Belichick just
tried to skirt that system.
He just blows it apart. But again, if the NBA, this is pretty shameful and scary for the NBA now that gambling is so out there, and so readily available.
In some other states other than Vegas.
Huh?
In some other
That's
states
what I'm saying.
Vegas.
All of a sudden, we got a big NBA issue here, because at least with Iguodala, they kept saying he's doubtful, then he's questionable. With LeBron, if in fact he was hurt, why didn't you declare it? Why didn't you declare it right away? Say he's at least questionable for game 2.
In that situation, you do not let someone know, the opposing team know, hand. Because now you don't have to tell them which one. You only got 2. So they're going to be slapping. They're going to be hitting. Skip, if you notice, he never dunked the ball and grabbed the rim again. From that point on, from after game 1, everything he did, he laid the ball over in the rim.
Now, wait a second. I recall in game 3 that he passed to himself off the backboard and just slam dunked it, right? Both hands, right hand hard against the rim. If you have a quote-unquote broken hand, do you think you can get away with that?
Yeah, that was adrenaline pump.
Okay. Well, why didn't adrenaline pump through games 2, 3, and 4?
I
don't know.
Adrenaline pumping.
And by the way, how did he make 22 of 27 free throws in games 2, 3, and 4 with a quote-unquote broken hand? Help me out on that one, because that's a hard shot, too, because it's more of a finesse shot.
Yep.
How did he do that? Pure adrenaline. Okay, well then why didn't he play some defense in games 2, 3, and 4 on pure adrenaline? Do you need your right hand to play defense? I didn't see him play any defense.
Skip, you and I both know, if you watch the game, if you watch the way LeBron played from game 1 going back, and you look at the way he played from game 2 moving forward, he's not the same LeBron. You and I even talked about how he was not finishing over the top. LeBron was always able to finish over the top. Now, all of a sudden, he's finishing 20% lower at the rim than he did in games 1, moving back the other way. Now, all of a sudden, he can't jump. Skip, there's something wrong.
Did you see games 4, 5, and 6 against the Dallas Mavericks in the 2011 finals?
Skip.
You would say something's wrong.
Skip,
well, maybe it's psychologically wrong.
No.
Maybe the pressure just eats him alive, and he's
a different guy then. You know that. I know that.
Well, I don't know.
He's not the same Skip. Even the staunchest LeBron haters will tell you LeBron James is not the same guy in 2011 he is today. There's no questions whatsoever about that. The MVPs, the 3 finals, said he's not the same player. The 2 MVPs says he's not the same player. The 7 straight All-NBAs says he's not the same player. So, Skip, he's not that player. You know that. I know that.
He just has a history of this in big moments, in big series, in big games. So I'm not surprised by it, but I don't want to hear another lame excuse for it.
When emotions are high, logic seems to be very low. His emotions were running rampant, given what had just happened. And so he let it, and as he said, I let my emotions get the best of me. That's what happened to him, Skip. At that point in time, he wasn't thinking clearly, because if he had been thinking clearly, they ask him why he never gets into a tussle or get thrown out of the game. I'm worth more to my team in the game than being tossed out of the game. So at that point in time, it didn't really dawn on him. I'm more important having a healthy right hand than punching this blackboard and not having one. It happens, Skip. He's not the first guy to get frustrated. We've seen guys in baseball, do things and hurt their pitching hand or hurt their pitching shoulder. We've seen that. So LeBron is not unique in this instance.
So if his hand was pretty much broken, why at the end of Game 4, as they were swept, was there cell phone video captured of LeBron, if we could see that, going through his elaborate handshake and hand slap with his 2 sons near the bench? I mean, wouldn't that just be so painful? He's doing the whole thing. Wait. How could you do that?
You touch your fingers.
Okay,
get that video.
And then you need to put a soft cast on for the media? Are you kidding me?
If you don't mind,
I'm calling baloney on that.
If you don't mind me asking, when he was exiting the court with a little over 4 minutes, tell me how he touched KD. How did he touch Steph Curry? How did he touch Klay Thompson, Andre Iguodala, Jerry Mind? Did he do it with his right hand or did he do it with his left hand?
I have no idea.
I
don't really care.
Exactly. Of course not.
Because I saw the elaborate bang, bang, bang with his kids.
No, it wasn't.
If you had
fingers.
the equivalent of a broken hand, you'd be like, ah! And then you have to put on a soft cast.
Whoa!
Shannon, wait a second. The season is over. What do you need to put the cast on after the game for? It's done. It's a prop. You know it, and I know it. The prop came off when he drove home. Want to bet?
It was reported that he was wearing this soft cast anytime the media wasn't around. If you notice when he did his interviews, his right hand was always in his lap. It never touched the top of the table. Do you remember that, Skip Bayless? So just go back and look and see at any point in time after the game or during the press conference before the game, did you see his right hand on the table or anywhere? Of course not.
Oh, that cinches it.
No.
That closes the case.
Skip.
Even ESPN had a shot of LeBron's hands hanging down by his side, his right hand versus his right hand before and after, and I couldn't really tell much difference. Like it was swollen.
You might need to get new. You might need to get new LASIK or
LASIK.
HDTV.
I guess so. So, what did the greatest player ever in any sport, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, once say about injuries? If you put on the uniform, you're 100%. And what did Michael Jeffrey Jordan do ahead of the pivotal Game 5 in 1997? 2-2 at Utah.
He had the
flu. No, he didn't have the flu. He contracted food poisoning, obviously vomiting, dehydrated, and he said, I'm putting the uniform on, I'm 100%. Nearly passed out in the first quarter from dehydration. Toughed it out, kept going, brought them from 8 down in the fourth quarter and hit the clinching 3 with 30 seconds left as they stole that game by 2 and went ahead 3-2 in the series, and it was over. Another classic game, because when you put the uniform on, you just figure out how to win the game.
I've always said that. I said anytime you put the uniform
That is
on,
correct.
all they do is see the name on the back.
Yep.
They don't know what it took for you to get to that point. So they expect, if you're a great player, they expect to see greatness anytime you're on the floor, the field, the diamond, the tennis court, the golf course. That's what fans expect to see. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't injured. That doesn't mean he wasn't hurt. Skip, I don't believe, so what? Okay, he doesn't hurt the hand. He averages a triple-double, and he's somewhere around 30 to 40 points a night. All it is delaying the inevitable. Nothing changes. He's not saying that even with the injured hand, he's 28-11-9. 28-11-9 with a bruised or a bone bruise or contusion, however you want to label it.
Hey, even with the bruised hand, he made 2 of 4 threes in game 2. And then I don't know what happened after that. I don't know.
He wasn't the same. He wasn't the same. If he took 11 mid-range, I mean, think about it. Games 2, 3, and 4, it's basically a three-pointer or if I'm trying to get to the basket. And you go back, I want people to go back and look at it and see how many times LeBron is trying to get to that left hand. Even on the right side of the basket, he's trying to lay the ball up with his left hand.
So you brought up Tom Brady, and again, there is greatness personified, right? Number 12, greatest quarterback ever. So ahead of the AFC Championship game, for however he did it, he suffered a 12-stitch gash in the base of his throwing thumb. That's tough for a quarterback. So what did he do in the fourth quarter against Jacksonville? Threw for another, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, brought them back miraculously once again to beat Saxonville. Remember that?
Yeah.
So that's, you just suck it up and figure out how to do this under those conditions, right?
Okay.
So
he sucked it up. He played skill. But you do realize they had 2 guys in double figures. LeBron at 34, Kevin Love at 19. And then everybody else was 8, 9. What's he supposed to do with that? Because you do realize in 96, the year they went 72-10, can you tell the people at home how many teammates Michael Jordan had in double figures?
I have no idea.
Besides himself, he had 3. Tony Kukoc, Scottie Pippen, and good old Luke Longley. Also in 98, the year you talking about, do you realize 3 of the top, all defensive, first team Jordan, that's 5 players. Do you know the Bulls had 3 of the first, had 3 of them? Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, and Scottie Pippen.
Michael Jordan, at age 34, a year older than LeBron, made first-team all-defense. And then in the closeout game 6, greatest game he ever played, he had only 1 other teammate in double figures.
LeBron almost.
Interesting.
LeBron almost topped Jordan's 92 season, Skip. The only difference is that was year 8 for Michael. This year,
we're going to leave it there. Where will LeBron take his talents next season? We'll discuss that next.
No mercy.
Let's move on to LeBron. His Cavs were swept in the finals, and now the focus is on where he'll play next season. LeBron was asked Friday if Game 4 was his last with the Cavs and said, quote, "I have no idea at this point." Over the weekend, his former teammate Dwayne Wade gave his opinion on LeBron's decision. Take a listen.
I think at this point in his life, it's more so of a lifestyle thing of, where my family's going to be the most comfortable at, where I'm going to be the happiest at. Because basketball-wise, he's so great, he can bring along and take along whoever.
Shannon, what does this tell you?
I know a lot of people are reading into it, Skip, is telling him that he's going to L.A. But for me, LeBron is about winning first and foremost. He made that abundantly clear. I'm still in championship mode. Who presents the best opportunity? Who presents him with the best chance to compete and win titles? Now, for me, lifestyle, that's what you're working for now, that when you're done, you have the opportunity to enjoy a great lifestyle. Skip, he lives in L.A. How often is he actually going to be home? You do know 41 games a year, 41 times a year, you're on the road. There are a lot of times you might go 3, 4, 5 days and you don't see that home. News flash for everybody. In basketball, they do play indoors. Now, in football, you talk about, oh, man, I want to be in a nice warm, I want to be in Miami, or I want to be in L.A. That's one thing compared to Lambeau, Soldier Field, or Cleveland, Pittsburgh. That's one thing. But Skip, who presents the best opportunity? Because that's where LeBron James is going to be happy. I don't care if it's 365 days a year and it's 80 degrees with no humidity. Let him be losing and see how happy he is. and then see how that trickles down to his family. Now, all things being equal, Miami is a great lifestyle.
It is.
But that's not conducive for him winning a title. Where can he go? Or where can he recruit people to go and help him win a title? But here's the kicker, Skip. What LeBron needs to understand, in order for you to put the team together that you think can get to and compete and win a title, somebody's going to have to take less dollars, because that's what Kevin Durant did. Kevin Durant took $10 million last year less than what he could have gotten, so they could bring back Sean Livingston, so they could bring back Andre Iguodala, and they could make sure they give Steph Curry the max. Someone is going to have to be willing to sacrifice. So you have to ask yourself, what's more important to you, LeBron, getting max dollars or winning another 1, 2, or 3 titles? Because if it's max dollars, I really don't know where he can go and get the type of people to come with him that can win a title. Because you hear Chris Paul saying he wants max dollars. Well, James Harden is already on a max dollar contract.
Correct.
LeBron says he'll never play for anything less than max. 3 max on one team doesn't work.
You have 3 starters, and you play 3 on 5,
so
right?
No, they need to go to cube thing, that 3 on 3.
Well,
they tear that up. Yeah, they tear that up.
They might.
But if you go play NBA, you need 5, and you better get 3 or 4 guys on the bench that can come up and help.
Okay, so if you are discounting what Dwayne Wade says about LeBron's lifestyle choice, your gut feeling tells you if he is now in championship mode, he will pick who?
For me, if I'm LeBron James, my first choice would probably be Boston. My second choice...
That's if Kyrie would sign with the Knicks? Or stay?
Kyrie wants to be... See, Kyrie is unhappy because Jason Tatum, he still won't be able to be the guy. Kyrie wants to be the de facto guy.
Okay.
Okay, so Boston would be number 1.
Okay, but you're saying without Kyrie.
Without Kyrie.
Okay, got it.
Number 2 would be San Antonio.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So, back to Dwayne Wade. I go back and forth on how close, and you may have some insight into this, but how close Dwayne and LeBron really and truly are. Because I'm going to remind you, LeBron in the 11th hour after the 2014 season, he left Dwayne high and dry in Miami, right?
Yes.
And it was a shocker to everybody, including Dwayne, that LeBron went home. I'm coming home, right?
Yes.
And then at the trade deadline, very quietly, I'm assuming LeBron blessed the move of Dwayne going back to Miami, right?
Right.
So as much as I believe that LeBron missed Dwayne down the stretch and in the playoffs, it seemed like LeBron didn't have a big issue with letting Dwayne go for what was it, a second-round pick in 2024?
Yeah.
So basically they just said, here, go home, or go back to Miami.
Correct.
So I go back and forth on how close Dwayne keeps in touch with LeBron. Is he just saying that from a distance, or does he have inside information? Because if he has inside information, then I'm going to rank these differently. I would say my teams in order are L.A., Miami, and then maybe Cleveland still on lifestyle, because LeBron is from Akron and Savannah's from Akron, right?
And that's my thing, Skip. 29 of his 33 years have been spent where?
Okay.
So what's the lifestyle? So
So I would think that's still an appealing lifestyle to them.
But I think the biggest thing is he has these 2 homes here in Brentwood.
Okay, and to that point, I know a lot of people over on that side of the 405. Brentwood is a very exclusive area. You could argue it's the best high-end area in Los Angeles. A lot of people love it because it's closer to the ocean than Bel Air or the upper Beverly Hills, right? So he bought 1 home in in Brentwood that he's hanging on to, probably just because it's a great investment, because real estate here just keeps skyrocketing.
Yeah, I'm hoping to come down at some point.
I'm right there with you.
I keep hoping.
But the point is that he already upgraded about 2 blocks up the hill in Brentwood and bought another bigger mansion. To what end? Another investment? Maybe. I don't know. They're going to winter here. Spend summer it would be. It feels like summer all the time here. But the point is is it possible that he wants to, quote unquote, just semi-retire? Not that he wouldn't play hard, but again, he would accept whatever he could bring to the Lakers. Would it be Paul George? Could he manage to get CP3 under this salary cap with him? And then what would happen to Lonzo? Would they trade Lonzo? I don't know. Yeah. I'm not sure Magic would go along with trading Lonzo.
How do you, let's just say for the sake of argument, Skip, you could get CP3 and Paul George. What are you going to do with Lonzo?
I don't know.
You'd
have to move him.
What are you going to do with Ingram and Kuzma? And all these guys, these guys are like, hold on, I've been 2 years, I've been getting better and better year after year. I'm not trying to be playing no 20 minutes a night.
Yep. I don't know. Would LeBron want his sons to go to high school in Southern California? I don't know, maybe. Would Savannah, does she prefer Southern California to Akron where she grew up? I don't know.
She seems to me like an Akron girl.
Well, could be.
She's not a girl, but a lady
I
now.
know.
Because here's the thing. She was so gung-ho.
Yep.
She was so happy. Skip, because think of when they first went to Miami, she was unhappy that LeBron moved her family down. So she would have someone to be close to while he was at work and when he was on the road. She was super duper ecstatic to go back. That's home for her. They love it that, look, Skip, LeBron went back there. Now he can say, hey, I went back because I want to do something for my city. But he loves Akron too. That's why he's so heavily invested in the community. So this lifestyle for me, that's secondary. The number one thing that is weighing on LeBron James's mind is championship. And not just the championship, Skip. He just doesn't want one. He wants to beat that team that's beaten him 3 out of the last 4 years. He wants to take that team down.
Okay, so what's the quickest path to do that? I don't see an obvious one. To take that, to dethrone the Golden State Warriors, I'm not sure. Let's do Houston, where you'd have to take them down in, let's say, the conference finals. Okay, if you join forces with CP3, who says, as you point out, he wants the max, James Harden making the max, you would have to gut that team. You're going to lose Capella. You're going to lose Eric Gordon, probably P.J. Tucker. I don't know what you could mix and match and come up with, but I don't think you would wind up with enough to take down the Golden State Warriors.
Well, and first of all, and then how do you get rid of Ryan Anderson 2 years, $40 million?
You don't.
I believe Boston have the pieces.
Okay.
If you can somehow keep Horford and Tatum, if you can keep those pieces, Rozier, maybe Brown, you have some nice pieces there. But Kawhi, because here at one point in time, Skip, when are we going to be able to say, you know what? LeBron James has never gone into a series and said, you know what? I have the best coach on my sideline.
Okay. He could do that with Boston. I would agree.
He can do that in San Antonio.
Could do that in San Antonio. I'm not sure my Spurs, even with LeBron and what you would have to jettison, like Houston, that you would have enough. And I don't know what Kawhi's feelings are, if the bridge is burned, if that would rebuild the bridge.
$219 for him.
Yeah.
That max contract is $219.
Yeah.
You have LaMarcus making about 27, little 25, 27 a year. Again, it goes back to this. The reason why Golden State was able to do what they did, Kevin Durant took about $10 million.
He did.
Now, agents in the NFL and NFLPA, the Players Association, Skip, they don't like that because that's a trickle-down effect. Because the owners think, well, if you got these mega superstars taking less money, you think I'm about to give you max dollar? And so that's a trickle-down effect. And so Players Association, regardless of the league, frown upon players taking that kind of haircut. But Kevin Durant says, I want to win. He gets the max. They can't keep Livingston. They can't keep Iggy. They can't keep some of these guys, the David West. So he's like, you know what? I'll make it up in another way.
They kept Iggy because he did that. And that was a big move.
And Sean Livingston.
Yeah. Key pieces.
Yes.
Very key.
So that's what it's going to come down to. How bad do you want to win championships? Because if it's about making, LeBron, when you retire, if you've made $600 million and you stay on 3 championships as opposed to $550 with 5 championships, really, $50 million is going to make that big of a difference to you?
I still say you have ignored Cleveland in the East, and I still say LeBron would want to stay in the East because it's still an easier path to the
all
finals.
things being equal, Skip, he would rather be in Cleveland.
Yep.
But who can he attract?
Okay.
But they got...
Okay, but Philly, you got those 2 young studs, and what they provide is not so much offense as defense. Those are 2 stud rim protectors. They man the paint. They control the paint. Those 2 guys are coming as superstars. You know it, and I know it. And I think they could retain a lot of their sharpshooters.
What am I going to do with Ben Simmons? He's not turning into Klay Thompson. Same complexion, but not the same shot selection.
Yeah, okay. I got it. But you know what? He can really move the basketball, and LeBron would appreciate his IQ. And obviously, he's a client of LeBron's agency. So I think it would be a fine fit for LeBron.
Well, LeBron says he wants to play off the ball. We've never seen LeBron play exclusively off the ball.
I don't know. Maybe it's time. Well, maybe they could cover for LeBron on defense in his old age in the NBA more than other teams could.
I can't tell, Leo. I can't tell. Can you tell? No, you couldn't.
I can tell on defense. Even you admitted he has to rest on defense now.
Yeah, he's resting. But he cooking folks on offense.
Okay. Well, maybe this would be the perfect fit. Just let him go and do his thing, and Ben Simmons can just facilitate.
Well, this what? My grandma used to say, boy, watch them pops. I'm about to lay down and take a nap. So, hey, LeBron said, well, I'm cooking folks on offense. Y'all watch that on defense. I'm going to take a nap.
And he could install maybe David Griffin as the new GM. He could control the franchise because they just had to jettison their GM.
All that control, I don't care nothing about no control. I'm trying to get me 5 championships. How do I get me 5 championships in the next 3 years? That's what I'm concerned about. I don't care if we got to play in Siberia. If they got an NBA team over there, we'll play there. But I want to come back and I want to beat the Warriors in the finals to let them know they don't have my number. They got it right now, but I'm about to change my number.
Well, I mean, hopefully LeBron realizes at this point that whole control thing is not really actually reality.
Yeah.
I mean, for a little bit amount of time, they'll give you what you want, but I'm pretty sure they did fire David Griffin and they did trade Kyrie Irving. So
and they didn't
that
trade that.
The idea of having some control over the franchise is an illusion.
And they didn't trade that pick to get DeAndre Jordan.
Exactly. So, but remember, LeBron does have a young daughter now. And his oldest son is going to be moving into his high school age, playing basketball. So wherever it is that he ends up is likely going to be the end of his moves for that reason exactly. Next up, Kevin Durant was named Finals MVP for his 2nd straight year. His main competition was Steph Curry, but Durant got 7 of the 11 MVP votes. KD averaged 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 7.5 assists in the finals and scored a playoff career high 43 in Game 3. So, Shannon, what did Durant prove in the finals?
He didn't prove anything to me. We already knew he was the best player on the Warriors. We knew he could take and make big shots. We saw it last year. So for me, all he did was prove what I already knew, that Kevin Durant is the 2nd best player in the NBA. That's what he is. And I don't have a problem with Kevin Durant winning the Finals MVP, Skip, because his worst game was a 26-9. Everybody saw Game 3, what Kevin Durant did, 43, 13, and 7. And Steph Curry was 3 of 16, scored 11 points. And Kevin Durant, Skip, tried to do everything he possibly could to get Steph Curry the MVP. He played off the ball. He's like, hey, Steph, you bring the ball up. In the process of trying to give Steph Curry the MVP, he gave himself a triple-double and won the MVP. So the voters are looking like, hold on. We just see this guy go 43, 13, and 7, and then in Game 4, when they blow him off the court, he gets a triple-double. Nothing for me, Skip. Everything I see Kevin Durant do, I'm not surprised. He's a 7-foot monster. He can shoot the ball over anybody, and when they started switching early in the game, Skip, they say basketball players, they practice when they're growing up, they practice shooting over chairs, shooting over brooms. Well, if you got George Hill on you, he's shooting over a chair. If you got JR on you, he's shooting over a chair. And you let him get a rhythm, he's going to be hell to deal with for the rest of the ball game. So Kevin Durant proved to me he's great. He's heading toward, and as he said, I'm about to have me a chair when Magic and Jordan and LeBron and Kareem and Bird, all these guys talking about championships and great players. Hey, I'm at that table now. So for me, Kevin Durant just showed me what I already knew about him. He's the 2nd best player in the NBA. We know who number 1 is, Skip. There's no doubt. If you left this finals thinking that Kevin Durant all of a sudden has passed LeBron James as the best player in the NBA, you watched something else other than what I watched.
This is what I watched, and I always just say what I see on TV. I saw, for the 2nd straight year, Kevin Durant prove that he's better than LeBron James when it matters most. I'll give you the regular season offense, whatever, but all around, when it matters most, Kevin Durant was better than LeBron James. He's a better shooter than LeBron, and he proves it in the biggest moments because he's definitely a better clutch shooter and scorer than LeBron at this stage of LeBron's life. He's a better defender than LeBron because I thought he defended LeBron very well. And he took him for much of the first 3 games. I know Iggy sort of got back in the rotation in Game 4, so they switched that up a little bit more. But for the most part, in this series, Kevin Durant took LeBron James. And you see the numbers. Maybe it was a bruised hand. Maybe it was Kevin Durant. Maybe it was a little bit of both. But Kevin Durant deserves some credit for what he did to LeBron in Games 2, 3, and 4 defensively. And then just big games, fourth quarter games. We just saw back-to-back Game 3s. They're the pivotal game of these series. You know it, and I know it. In the first game a year ago, Game 3 at Cleveland, these are both in LeBron's house. Cleveland is up 6 with 3 minutes left and gets blown off the floor 11-0 down the stretch. This year they were up 1 with 3 minutes left and lost down the stretch 14-5. That had everything to do with Kevin Durant and very little to do with LeBron James because Kevin Durant took over those 2 fourth quarters. He was much better in the fourth quarters than LeBron was. So he keeps out-dueling LeBron, back-to-back Game 3s, back-to-back seasons, finals, in his house. And he wins MVP, which he deserved, both times in the finals. So all I can tell you is what I saw, and I saw that Kevin Durant was much better than LeBron James with all the chips pushed to the middle of the table.
Can I ask you, if you don't mind me asking, I just want to make sure, is this the hill you want to stand on to make that argument?
I just stood on it.
Okay.
And I'm screaming from the mountaintop of it.
Can you tell me what Steph Curry was doing in Games 1 and 2?
He's good, but who was the man? Who won MVP deservedly so?
Whoa,
Yeah.
no, Skip.
Yeah.
I'm not debating whether or not he should have won. I said he should have won. He had 43, 13, and 7, and he had a triple-double in Game 4. But I'm asking you, in Games 1 and 2, when Steph Curry goes for 29 and Steph Curry goes for NBA record, Joey, 9 3-pointers in Game.
But Game 1, the Cavs should have won, right?
What did Steph Curry do? Who in the first 2 games, who was the leading scorer?
Steph Curry in overtime of Game 1 scored 0. Really?
Kevin Durant scored 2.
You want to stand on that hill?
And guess what? In overtime, Steph Curry had 0 points, and he still had more points than Kevin Durant. And in Game 2, what happened, Skip? An NBA record, 9 3-pointers. That was the difference in the ball game.
But the turning point game was Game 3, up 1 in LeBron's house. And who took that game over with 43 points? Who made all the key shots of the finals? Kevin Durant made the key shots.
If you remember,
Steph scored a bunch of points. I'll give you that.
Game 1, the Cavs was up at 1 point, 13 points. And then there was a shot from damn near half court. Somebody hit that shot to get it to 3.
Yeah.
Who did that, Skip?
He's a good player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that's.
But he's not even in this conversation. We're talking about, you said, the 2 best players on the planet, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
And you
that
know,
the one is there's no question.
It was interesting because you made the point that Kevin kept trying to defer to get Steph back in it. I really respect that. I admire that because Kevin Durant said after Game 4 that it's actually harder to be great on a great team than it is to be great on a bad team. Because on a great team, you're trying to keep everybody happy, and so your touches are more limited, your opportunities are more limited, yet when push comes to shove, that great team, these Warriors, would turn to Kevin in crunch time, in key turning point moments, and say, you do it.
Yeah, but what the luxury that Kevin doesn't have is that because you're on a great team, you can have an off night. When you're on a team like LeBron James, there is no off night and you win the ball game. Because clearly in Game 1, KD was off. He played better in Game 2, but Steph Curry went bonkers from the three-point line. So let's look. I know what Kevin Durant's trying to say here. He's trying to throw a little, yeah, I might be the second best player, but if I was on a bad team. Even when you was in OKC, you couldn't see LeBron James with the Hubble telescope, and you still can't see him.
Yeah, so, but to your point about LeBron back in the 2011 finals, he was just a child, basically. He hadn't figured it out yet.
No.
So was Kevin in Oklahoma City.
No, Skip. No, I'm not. I didn't say LeBron was a child.
Well, you said he had no scar tissue. He hadn't gone through it yet.
I'm saying he wasn't the player then that he is now. You know that. I know that. Skip, they was like 10 feet. They were daring LeBron to shoot anything outside the paint.
I've seen a new guy in Kevin Durant since he left Russell Westbrook. He's just different.
Okay.
I didn't think he had this in him. In 2 straight years, he had this in him.
Yeah. Think about this. LeBron James with 6 rebounds again from averaging a triple-double. He had 34, 11, and 9. Last year, he was 34, 12, and 10, and KD shut him down. Really? Is that the mountain you want to stand on and yell that?
Yeah, I do, because he bothered him. Maybe it's his hand, I don't know, but you kept telling me LeBron wasn't the same. Maybe LeBron couldn't attack the basket because he had that 7-foot monster on him. Thought about that?
So what was that 7-foot monster? Because he guarded him the most of the time in game one. He had 43 trips on LeBron James when LeBron went 51, 8, and 8. So where was he then? Did he shrink?
No, LeBron had arguably his greatest game ever, certainly shooting the ball from outside, until the moment of the game, the turning point of that game, and he went south.
He didn't go south.
That's LeBron.
He made the right play. And even with the injured hand, the severity of the injury, we may never know. He was still 28, 11, and 9. Tell me the player in NBA history that wouldn't take 28, 11, and 9 for a season.
Well, I told you for a season you could make a case, open and shut case that LeBron's a better player.
Go poll 30 general managers.
Okay.
Right now. And I guarantee you.
I don't care what they say. I care what I saw. And I saw Kevin Durant for the second straight year be better than LeBron when it counted. You know it, and I know it.
See, I don't look at just highlights.
Highlights?
Highlights.
This is the moments of the season. This is where the whole season swings one way or the other. We talk and talk from October on about this season, and then it's going to swing in Game 3, and Kevin Durant takes over another Game 3.
I sure wish LeBron would have had a guy that could have gave him 27, 6, and 6 like Steph.
Well,
or
guess
give
what?
him 16 points a game.
How do you explain this? For the 4 games, the Cavaliers out-rebounded Golden State by 26 rebounds over 4 games. No rebounds, no rings, said Pat Riley. So, LeBron, you got 26 more rebounds thanks to some help, thanks to Kevin Love, thanks to Tristan Thompson.
Skip, here's the thing.
Wow,
okay,
interesting.
The thing is, if you get those rebounds, what do you do? If you get the rebound and you go out and you miss the shot, what have you done? That's what. Look at their field goal percentage. Look at their three-point percentage. That's why they lost. You look at the guy. Skip. Jeff Green averaged 5. Hold on. Let me see what Jeff Green averaged. Jeff Green averaged what? 5 points a game. Kyle Korver averaged 1.5 points a game. One of the greatest shooters. He made 0 shots from the field after game 1. He 1 of 11 from the 3.
Help me out. What was LeBron in that Game 4? You got that stat sheet.
Game 4?
Took a grand total of 13 shots?
Yes.
Is it possible he just went into his psychological shell that he goes into like a turtle?
And I was asking myself the question, Skip. I'm like, LeBron, because at one point he's like at 9 shots. I say, LeBron, you need to be triple that. You need to be 27. Because think about it, Skip. He goes 32. And every game after that, lower, 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 field goal attempts. You don't think that's
Melt down.
Don't do that, Skip. Don't do that.
Melt down. It's a meltdown.
Don't do that.
I think it's
Man,
happened
34,
right before
11,
your
and
very
9.
eyes.
6 rebounds short of a triple-double again in the NBA Finals.
But he had to wear a hand cast after
Speaking
the game.
of 6 in the NBA Finals, does LeBron have any chance of catching Jordan after getting swept? We'll discuss that next.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
No mercy. LeBron is just a few days removed from being swept in the finals by the Warriors. Last week, Kobe Bryant talked to Bleacher Report and had some interesting comments about LeBron. Kobe said LeBron needs to, quote, figure out a way to win more championships. Kobe also compared his experience facing the Celtics with Pearson, Garnett, and Ray Allen to LeBron facing the Warriors, and Kobe seemed to question LeBron's leadership. He said, quote, it has everything to do with how you build a team from an emotional level. How do you motivate them? Leadership is not making guys better by just throwing them the ball. That's not what it is. It's about the influence that you have on them to reach their full potential, and some of it's not pretty, some of it's challenging, some of it's confrontational, some of it's pat on the back, but it's finding that balance so when you show up to play a Golden State or a Boston, you guys feel like you have the confidence to take on more. Shannon, do you agree with Kobe?
Hell no. He makes some good points. But I'm just trying to figure out what I'm starting to see now. I'm starting to see greats like Kobe Bryant, greats like Charles Barkley, almost take pride and joy in LeBron losing. Kobe, when people talk about GOAT, nobody brings Kobe into the conversation. And let me tell you why, Skip. In professional sports, nobody has ever been brought into the GOAT conversation winning 1 regular season MVP. When we talk about GOATs of basketball, be it Bird, Magic, Kareem, Michael, Bron, Wilt Chamberlain, now Wilt has 3, but he only has 2 rings. All these guys have 3 or more regular season MVPs and 3 or more rings, with the exception of Wilt. And so because Kobe does not get brought up in that conversation, this was his opportunity to try and throw shade at LeBron James. Nobody has ever thought that Kobe Bryant was a better teammate than LeBron James. Now, all of a sudden, because he was ball hogging, oh, it's more than pass. Skip, how do you get a guy better if you don't have confidence in him to pass him the ball and allow him to do his job? That's a part of it. See, Kobe is most like Michael, and he feels confrontation is the only way to lead. Well, LeBron James, I'm sure LeBron, there have been times that LeBron has been confrontational, but LeBron is more apt to pat you on the back, give you a few words of encouragement, as opposed to being confrontational. I'm trying to figure why did Kobe Bryant want to get traded instead of trying to figure out a way to beat Boston? Now, nobody is ever going to say that Boston Celtics team is comparable to this Golden State Warriors team. Not even Danny Ainge, not even Paul Pierce will say. And he has been very outspoken about LeBron at times also. This Golden State Warriors team, that Boston Celtics team couldn't hold a candle to, Skip Bayless. I'm trying to, because when Michael was playing, Kareem and Wilt and Bill Russell, and even after they retired, Larry and Magic, they didn't take shots at Jordan. I'm trying to figure out why is it now that some of these old timers feel a need and feel it necessary to take shots at LeBron? Skip, we know what it was. Phil Jackson wrote in his book that in 99-2000, Kobe asked to be traded. We knew how he was throwing a temper tantrum because he couldn't get to the finals again until they swiped Pau Gasol from Memphis. But now, all of a sudden, you just got to figure it out. Well, let me tell you what Michael figured out. Age. That Father Time waits on no one. And as Bird back gave out on him, as McHale ankle and knees gave out on him, as Parrish knees gave out on him, that's what happened. And Isaiah and them going to every year, they playing the Lakers in the finals, or playing Portland in the finals. Skip, you keep going to year after year after year into the finals. You're playing in June, and everybody else's season is done in April. That catches up with you. Kobe ought to be ashamed of himself. Well, let me tell you what else, Kobe. Kobe played 20 seasons. He never, in 20 seasons, Joey, he never shot more better than 47% from the floor. LeBron in 15 seasons done it 14 times. Averaged 7 rebounds in the game. LeBron has done it 13 times. Averaged 6 assists. Because clearly he wasn't trying to make anybody better. See, Kobe Bryant thinks ball hogging. I'm going to take the last shot. LeBron says, I will too. Hence the 2 buzzer beaters in the finals, and you saw him have a couple more in the regular season. LeBron says, I will do what is necessary in order to win the game. Kobe Bryant is one of these guys. The only way he thinks he can win is if he takes the last shot. Skip, there is more to leading a team than just assisting the ball. But to be dismissive and say, oh, LeBron just keeps saying that, he's trying to get guys better by passing the ball. What the hell are you supposed to do? Why didn't you make Kwame Brown? I just want to know, why did you make Kwame Brown and Smush Parker better with your style? You had them on your team. I just need to know, why did you need to get rid of Smush and Kwame in order for you to win championships?
Is it my turn?
It's your turn.
Thank you. Once again, Mr. Sharp, you are attempting to kill the messenger, and you're ignoring the messenger's message.
What's his message?
Which you should take to heart. He is telling you this advice was passed down to him from Michael Jordan, and he's trying to pass it down to LeBron. And you, as LeBron's substitute on this show, are not listening to the message.
Fables get passed down year after year. Yeah.
Okay, so let's put this back in context. Your favorite word, because obviously Kobe won 3 big titles with Shaquille O'Neal. You can take that away from him if you want, and that's fine. I'm not going to argue with that. And then Kobe, without Shaq, he actually ran Shaq out of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
He had 3 miserable years trying to figure out how to do it by myself, right? And they were just horrendous. And he had the Kobe pout game in Game 7 in 06 against the Phoenix Suns.
What you mean, pout 7?
I'm just saying, he hadn't figured it out yet.
Give him context now.
Okay, context. And then 2008, he lost to the Big 3 Celtics, and he couldn't figure it out. In 2009, he got a huge break because LeBron and company just collapsed against the Orlando Magic after LeBron hit the shot heard round the world in Game 2. And then what happened, Shannon? I don't know.
Why did you, hold on, what happened in 2008?
Wait a second. With 2008, he lost, I said, to the big three.
But they acquired someone.
Okay, but they lost. So he hadn't figured it out. Did you read the story? Did you read what he said?
I read the story.
So,
but where does Paul Gasol come in at?
Here he comes, 2010. So he's up against the same big three Celtics. And they got Kendrick Perkins, and they got Rondo, and they got Rashid, and they got Tony Allen, and they got Big Baby. And he said, to use Kobe's word, that team was stacked. And he said, I made the mistake. I'm paraphrasing his quotes. I made the mistake of saying something around in Michael's presence about, man, I don't know how we can do. And he said, you have to figure this out. You have to make your teammates realize you can do this together. You can figure this out. And he figured it out in 2010. He tried to make his teammates finally aware, I need you, I believe in you, and all you guys are going to hit big shots for me when it's time to hit big shots. Game 7 at Staples, again, to be totally fair about this, the Celtics had lost Kendrick Perkins in Game 6. So he wasn't there in Game 7. But at Staples, guess what?
Kobe shot 6 of 24.
Yeah, he shot 6 of 24. He wasn't very good. But guess what? Ron Artest he scored 20 points, and Pau Gasol had 19 and 18. Derek Fisher scored 10, and guess who made the 2 free throws that won the game? Sasha Vujacic? Really? Okay, so it's, once again, he got help from people he wasn't getting help from. That's the message to a LeBron James, who, to me...
Hold up, no.
Yes.
He needs to give that message to LeBron teammates. You see, Kobe got help. He needs to get out to Kevin Love. He needs to get out to JR.
You know, I always say on the show, LeBron James is the best passer in basketball, but that does not make him the best leader in basketball. Leading is different to me. LeBron is still too much of a solo act. He still drops hints all year long, I don't have enough help. He still sets himself up with excuses to the media of, well, I don't know if we have enough. I don't know if we have enough.
Okay, well,
he sends messages to his teammates that he doesn't believe in his teammates.
Okay, well, answer me this. Why was Kobe so upset demanding a trade if he could get it done?
Okay, but you're missing the context. That was he's only talking about before 2010. Yeah. That was his one big breakthrough where he was a pretty good teammate and actually a very good leader that year against those Celtics. They were still in their prime. That was the first super team, right?
Yeah. So hold on. So they were in their prime in 2010, but they were out of their prime in 2012.
He said, I hadn't figured it out yet. I didn't bring my teammates along for the ride, and neither did LeBron in these finals.
Skip!
And the classic case was at the end of Game 1 when he literally distanced himself from the teammates, head in hand, towel overhead, like, I'm ashamed to be part of you guys.
So what about,
you can't do that.
What about when he passed George Hill the ball? Was he being a bad teammate?
No, he's being a scared teammate. You got to take the shot.
So he can't win. If he takes the shot and misses it.
No, but that's a whole different circumstance. You got to that moment where you got control of the game with 6'3" Steph on you, and you finally have a hot hand, one of your rare hot-handed games in your career.
Skip,
shoot the shot.
Skip, what you mean hot-handed?
Well, Kobe's going to shoot the shot. He doesn't mean the shot to win the game.
Well, hold on. So if Kobe's going to shoot the shot, why doesn't he have more buzzer beaters in the playoffs than LeBron?
Okay, you're killing the messenger again. He's just saying this is how he brought these
teammates.
That's how he did it. This is not a great team that I just gave you. Ron Artest and Gasol and Derek Fisher, that's not greatness to me. Are those big-time all-star players? Not to me.
Ron Artest was a defensive player of the year and an all-star.
I know him well.
Okay. Yeah. Pau Gasol is going to the Hall of Fame.
Everybody goes to the Hall of Fame.
He's an all-star, Skip. The guy,
he's pretty good. You know he's not a dominating player.
Skip.
He's not a top 10 all-time, top 20, he's not a top 50 player.
Skip.
You know it and I know it.
Okay, but I'm saying, see, he's directing that, say, LeBron, his teammates. Okay, he got contributions. When did LeBron get contributions in this finals?
Well, that's what he's saying. You didn't bring them along for the
How?
ride. All year long. I don't know if I have enough help. I don't know if he drops hints constantly. He sets up his teammates to be scapegoats just so the Shannon Sharps can jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, where are you, Jordan Clarkson? Where are you, Rodney Hood?
You realize Jordan Clarkson had the worst in NBA history.
Okay, you're making my point. No,
actually, Kobe is making my point because you got the guy on LeBron's team that had the worst playoff in NBA history. You say bring someone along, Skip. I can bring you along, but if you don't want to come, what about JR missing all those shots? How's that LeBron's fault? How is Kyle Korver going 1 for 16 in the finals? How is that LeBron's fault? How is Kevin Love playing small every time in the finals against Draymond? How is that LeBron's fault?
He doesn't make them believe that they're going with him for this ride. He's always arm's length at a distance with the media, where the constant theme all year long. Does he have enough help? Then at trade deadline, they wiped the slate clean, and they got 4 players that you were raving about, but LeBron never raved about them.
Skip,
you know why? He's too smart.
Skip.
Too high IQ. If you rave about those, you're going to up the ante on yourself. You're going to raise the pressure.
He did. He said he got an athletic big man in Nance Jr. They got Rodney.
I didn't hear him raving like you were throwing a victory parade over there.
Skip, how do you think Tristan Thompson, how do you think JR, how do you think Kevin Love got those big paydays if LeBron James didn't believe in them?
Well, I don't think he believed in this team because he saw it coming and he wanted to head it off at the pass. He wanted to set up his teammates for the fall.
All Kobe's trying to do is throw himself into the discussion as GOAT.
No.
You can't be
I
a
don't
GOAT.
think so.
You cannot be in the GOAT conversation with one regular season MVP.
This is actually an anti-GOAT comment. This is him saying, I had to learn to defer. I had to be more of a leader. I had to make my teammates believe that we were all equals.
LeBron said, hell, give me a young Shaq. I'd made him believe he was equal.
No, you're missing the point again. This wasn't about Kobe and Shaq. This is about 2010, period, end of story.
So what did they have to do? They got him Pau Gasol. We had Kwame Brown.
Look what they're up against. Ray and Paul and KG and Perkins and Rondo and Rashid and Big Baby and Tony Allen. You don't think that's a hellacious team?
Okay, but here's the thing.
And they're in their prime.
Okay, let's just say for the sake of argument, they had lost. The Boston Celtics had lost to the Lakers. Mm-hmm. And then in the offseason, they signed LeBron James. Because that's what Golden State did, Skip Bayless.
Okay, you're changing the narrative again.
Skip.
Sorry.
Skip. You do realize in Game 6, Kobe Bryant lost an NBA Finals game, closeout game by a record margin. 39 points to this day.
Kill the messenger.
Skip, you can say kill the messenger all you want to, but the fact of the matter—
That's not the discussion here.
Skip.
He's trying to show LeBron how to get this home.
Skip, nobody—
Game 1, Game 3, you had him. You had him.
Guess what? You're right. And Pau Gasol in Game 7, Pau was 19 and 18. Ron Artest had 20 points.
I just said that.
Okay.
That's the point.
When does LeBron teammates give him that in the finals?
Kobe's telling you he didn't set them up to do that.
Skip, the man Evans.
Wait. You know what you keep sweeping under the carpet? Did you watch what happened at the end of Game 1? Help me out. You still defending it? I've never seen such a pathetic display from a leader superstar than LeBron just melting down on the bench.
You can talk about the—
You had him.
You can talk about—
That's the essence of what Kobe's talking about. You can't do that. And you know why Kobe can relate? He's done similar in his younger days. He's done similar to that. You can't do it. You lost the finals right there in that flashpoint moment. You know it and I know it.
Okay,
it was over after that.
All they did was delay the inevitable.
You quit on your team.
So did Kobe quit?
We're not talking about Kobe.
Hold on. Did he quit against Phoenix?
Yeah,
He
he pouted. Yes,
no. I don't want to hear no pouting. Did he quit?
Well, LeBron quit.
No. I'm asking you a simple question. A simple no or a simple yes will suffice. They were up 3-1. He did not shoot. Did he quit?
Similar.
Yes or no? No. I don't want to hear similar. Did he quit?
He kept shooting.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Skip.
He kept playing. LeBron quit shooting.
Skip.
So you can't defend it, Shannon.
How many shots did Kobe take?
Stop.
How many shots did he take?
Stop.
No, stop.
Here, he melted down. You can't
So
defend this. You're lost.
So did Kobe.
You lost.
So did Kobe.
Okay, here, listen. He melts down, he distances himself, and then he's so distraught that he refuses to even keep shooting. And for 2.5 minutes of the 5-minute overtime, he does not take a shot until they're 7 points down. Then he takes 4 half-hearted shots and misses all 4 of them.
How many shots did Kobe take against Phoenix?
It was terrible. It was pathetic.
No, I don't want I want the same vitriol that you're giving LeBron. Give that to Kobe right now.
I don't know. I don't remember the game that well.
You remember
This was a flat-out throw in the towel, quit right before your very eyes. You know it, and I know it. That
all
was
I'm
the
saying-
first round. This was game 1 of the NBA Finals.
It's Kobe
This is
Bryant.
a superstar.
Kobe Bryant.
This is the guy you tell me is better than Michael
Kobe
Jordan.
Bryant.
You're disqualified.
Kobe Bryant.
You lost. It's over, Shannon.
Kobe Bryant
it's
is a great
over.
player. It doesn't matter.
You can discredit Kobe all you want, but what he's saying is the God's truth. He's passing down the wisdom of the generation.
Why is it the truth? Why is it the gospel? Because Kobe
Because
said it.
you can see he did it in 2010. He's showing you what happened.
LeBron did it in 2016.
Guess what?
LeBron did it in 2016.
Sasha Vujacic was actually George Hill, and he made both free throws.
Okay. So how is that LeBron's fault? George Hill missed his.
It wasn't like the last-second shot pass to George
How
Hill.
is that LeBron's fault that George Hill made 1 or 2 of his free throws and Sasha made both of his? How is that?
Can't put the ball in his hands at that moment.
Oh, but you can in Sasha.
They also
First
had,
finals.
they also had overtime. Lonzo Ball had a platelet-rich plasma shot, or PRP, to strengthen his left knee. Lonzo missed the last 8 games of the regular season with a left knee contusion. He stayed off the knee for about a month to let it heal. But yesterday, he said he just got back on the court and, quote, everything is feeling good. Lonzo averaged about 10 points per game while shooting 36% in his rookie season. Shannon, what does this tell you about Lonzo's future?
Skip, I'm nervous because the guy missed a substantial amount of time with knee injuries.
30 games.
And he's early in his career, Skip. You remember Penny Hardaway, Skip?
Do I?
4 of his first 5 years, he was an all-star. He made 2 first-team All-NBA. And after this knee problem, he was never the same. You remember Brandon Roy, Skip? He was Rookie of the Year.
He was really
Now,
good
he
player.
played 5 more years, but in the 2 of those years, he never played more than 20 games. This should be a concern because as a guy, guess what? He doesn't rely on his athleticism like a Russell Westbrook.
Yep.
But Skip, 82 games a year, up and down, night in and night out. The one thing we know about knees, they don't normally get healthier with pounding. I hope this is something that this will help. But Skip, you got to be concerned for a guy that has, it's like a baseball player, a pitcher with elbow. I don't care how hard he throws. He have to have Tommy John early in his career. That concerns you, Skip.
I agree.
A basketball player with knee problems or ankle problems, feet problems, that has to concern you because that's how they make their money. That's how they make their living, on their feet.
Yeah.
And for Lonzo, he missed a bunch of games. Hopefully this PRP shot will help. But if I'm the Lakers, I'm sure the Lakers are behind the scenes.
Yep.
I'm sure there's some concern on Magic and Rob Pelinka.
That's my word that I wrote down. I'm not nervous, but I'm concerned. I don't like this. Again, he didn't have surgery. He didn't tear anything that we know of.
Right.
It was a bone bruise in his knee. That's what we heard. He also had a shoulder issue.
Right.
He doesn't have his LeVar Ball body yet. He doesn't have a LiAngelo body yet. He's a little willowy. He's, dare I say, a little soft. I don't know if he can take the pounding. He says he's been in the weight room. I sure hope so. He says he's changing his nutrition habits. I sure hope so.
Right.
Because his genetics, if you look at his father, would tell you he's got potential to get bigger and stronger.
Well, he might not want that ball body. He might not want that extra weight on those knees.
Maybe not. It just depends. But the point is, this was the most frustrating rookie year I can ever remember watching. And again, I'm a fan. You're more of a skeptic. But I saw flashes of brilliance, and I saw some extended periods of, what is that? What is he doing? Disengaged. I saw detached. I saw too nice. I saw too shy. I saw too unassuming. I saw too un-LeVar Ball. I wish he had just a splash of LeVar in his personality, which I haven't seen yet.
You wanted to see more of Game 2 where he went to Phoenix, they had 29, 13, and 9, and you didn't see enough of that because you saw the flashes.
It was a Friday night at Phoenix, and I watched it. I'm sitting there. I'm in awe because I thought, oh, there he is.
Right.
Because we didn't see it in Game 1 at Staples. There it was.
Right.
29, what was it, 13 and 29, 11, and 9.
9, yeah.
29, 11, and 9. And he just took the game over on offense in the fourth quarter. And I'm not sure I saw another game like that the whole rest of the way, and he played 52 more games. And I saw a triple-double at Milwaukee. I saw a triple-double against Denver. I saw 13 double-doubles. I saw 10, 7, and 7. I saw him lead the Lakers in assists, obviously, which is pretty easy. Second in rebounds, not that easy on the Lakers, to Julius. And for a lot of the years, you know, he was leading in rebounds. He can rebound the basketball. I saw no aggression to speak of whatsoever. I saw it in the Summer League. He took over the Summer League, and he was the MVP. I saw him, you hate the stat, but I saw him shoot 41% from the three-point line at UCLA. I know it's a couple of feet closer, and maybe that was a big difference and a big deal. Is he changing his shot in the offseason? I can't wait until we have his father on to get into all this and see where he stands in his father's eyes. But I saw one stretch of 6 games from February 3rd to March the 7th, 6 straight games, and he made 21 of 41 threes. And I said, okay, that'll work.
Right.
And in that stretch, he was tied for second in three-point percentage shooting with Dirk and Kyrie in the NBA. Okay, that'll work. But again, that was just 6 games. And for the rest of the year, I saw 31 total percent. And worse, I saw, what was it, 45% from the free, 45%. That's horrendously bad, and that has to get corrected immediately, or you're not going to make it in this league.
Yeah, your point guard can't shoot that percentage from the free throw line.
Or you're going to have more hack Alonzo.
Maybe from the field, because they are shooting the ball, Skip. They're not really laying the ball up, so point guards are going to struggle unless they're like Magic, where Magic was posting up and he developed a little baby sky hook. But for the most part, point guards, they're going to shoot somewhere. If they can get mid 40s, you feel good with that. Get 46, 47, you're loving that. But Skip, I agree with you. He's going to have to increase his free throw percentage. But I'm concerned. I don't know if they've ever had to go into that knee, but he's 20. And he missed 24 games because of knee injuries, and he's had this shot.
And I saw him get roughed up a lot.
Yeah.
You know, this is a man's league, man. They go hard. And those point guards defending you, they will get up into you.
Yeah. And the thing is, Skip, like I said, he's not one of these. He's not Russell, so he's not merely relying on athleticism to get him from point A to point B, but to rebound. He's a rebounding guard, Skip.
Yeah.
So I mean, the needs. It just concerns me because he got to get up and down, night in and night out, and you don't want these problems lingering into his career because, like I said, Penny Hardaway, we just knew he was going to be the next Magic. And he was well on that trajectory.
He was.
And then on the flash, it was over.
And what I don't know, and I'm going to ask his father about here in just a little while on this show today, coming up at about 11 Eastern. Isn't that about right?
Yep.
I want to know what the Luke Walton factor was, because father spoke out just about a month into the season and said this team is quitting on Luke Walton. Remember that?
Yeah.
Was Lonzo quitting on Luke? I don't know. Was he just never quite happy with Luke or his rotation minutes? I don't know. Never seemed very happy. Did that affect him? Is that why he was disengaged and disconnected half the time? I don't know.
This
didn't look right to me.
So what? I mean, you're not nervous. You're just concerned. Moving forward.
But I saw flashes. I told you there are a lot of positives. And what's going to show you the most here is Magic Johnson's going to have a whole bunch of scenarios on the table coming up here real shortly. And a bunch of them are going to be signing trades, and they will concern trading Lonzo to bring in potentially LeBron or Paul George or
Durant
whoever it might be.
Right.
That's going to have to be on the table, and it's going to have to be dealt with. And Magic could make a very loud statement if he opts to move Lonzo, because he attached himself to, he attached the future of the Lakers.
No.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson is attached to the Lakers. Magic Johnson is attached to winning championships. And if he thinks somebody else is going to give him a better chance to win that.
No, I got it.
Skip,
but I mean, he went pretty far out there on the limb with Lonzo.
But he probably didn't know he would have an opportunity to get LeBron and KD.
No. A lot of stuff is about to hit the NBA fan, and this could be one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Can't wait for LeVar.
Yes, coming up in a little bit. Is Tim Tebow on his way to the majors?
What?
We'll discuss that next.
Really?
He had to join the military?
Newsflash.
No mercy.
It's time for U.S. Open headlines presented by DraftKings. The first round starts Thursday morning right here on FS1. Skip, what are Tiger's chances at Shinnecock?
Joy, Shannon, I hope I'm wrong about this, but I give Tiger a 0 shot at Shinnecock. He just doesn't drive the ball straight enough, and that's nothing new. He just never has driven the ball straight enough to win at a venue like this.
Right.
Because he's not just missing one way left, he'll miss right and left, hook and slice. And at Shinnecock, the rough is up so high, it's just too penal. You're going to pay too big a price to miss the fairway consistently, which is what he's been missing. You can get away with it at a regular tour stop because you can score out of the shorter rough. I think this week No way. I give him a much better shot to break back through at a Masters or British or PGA than at Shinnecock and an Open.
Skip, I'm going to give him a 1% chance because he is Tiger and he is showing up.
That's
you
fair.
talk about drive straight enough. Hell, he doesn't putt straight enough anymore.
Well, he didn't last week.
Skip, and the thing is that he plays, I've never seen anybody. He'll be 5 up and give it all back in the back 9. So he'll go -5 and then he'll go +7 on the back 9 and then he's +2. And you're like, Tiger, you had a great round going. It's like,
when he gets in contention, it's like, wait a minute, how did I do this? Well,
goes up, and then next thing you know, he's sliding back down. So I give him a 1% chance, but I agree with you. I think those days, Skip, the days of Tiger versus the field are long, long gone, and they're never going to come back.
Well, he's 42.
No, we're never going to see another golfer. We're never going to see another golfer
I agree.
where we say him or the field.
I mean, you never say never, but I'm pretty much with you. I've never seen anything like that Tiger back around that Tiger Slam period.
Early 2000s.
Ooh.
Well, be sure to watch the first round of the U.S. Open Thursday morning on FS1. Next up, is Tim Tebow getting closer to making the majors? A USA Today article says Tebow is actually showing signs of improvement on the diamond. Tebow is batting .241, but he's also hit 4 home runs in AA for the Binghamton Rumble Ponies. And he just finished an 11-game stretch where his manager said, quote, he was on fire. On fire, Shannon.
On fire.
Can you see Tebow making it to the majors?
Yes, but not on merit. Not on merit, Skip Bayless.
Sideshow?
Yeah, stop it. You know, Skip, he'll be 31. He's hitting .241 in 166 at-bats. He struck out 73 times, Skip. That's 44% of his at-bats. That's the second most in the league. He has 4 home runs. Now, he's supposed to be a power hitter. Giancarlo Stanton striking out, Aaron Judge striking out is one thing. They're power hitters.
Yep.
Skip, against Major League MLB qualifiers, Matt Davidson has the highest strikeout rate. But he's hitting a home run once every 15 at-bats. Tim Tebow is once every 42 at-bats. Joy, this surge they're talking about, he's hitting .210 since that surge in May. So I don't know what that manager's talking about he's on fire. What kind of fire he on? I don't want that kind of fire.
Well, now wait a second. Since May 1st, his on-base plus slugging is .726. That's pretty high.
So, okay.
That means he's hitting for power. Maybe the ball's not going over the fence, but it's hitting the fence.
But he's a power hitter, Skip. So answer me this. Okay, this surge and all this stuff, he's still batting .241 with 73 strikeouts.
Actually, for him, .241 is not bad, given what he did last year.
I mean, think about that, Joe. Let that sink in for just a second. We're saying a guy that struck out 73 times, the second most in that league, hitting .241, and that's not bad. I mean, I guess all the AA players like hell. So what the guys that's hitting 300? They're like, oh, we're getting called up tomorrow if there's any chance for him to go up to the majors.
But once again, you omit the fact that at even 31, Tim Tebow is a baseball baby. Hadn't played since his junior year of high school, and now he's played all of a year and a third of professional baseball. It's hard, man.
Yeah.
It's the longest, hardest road in sports. And he's riding that bus on that road. And he's riding it to Reading and to Portland, Maine, and to Hartford and back to Binghamton. You know, this is hard, man, what he's doing. And yet he's had these flashes, these surges that make people in the Mets organization say, maybe if he hangs with it. Is he going to hang with it for a couple more years? If it were some 18-year-old, you'd be saying, well, give him a chance, right? Well, you would.
If you think about how we always measure Tim Tebow, Joy. We measure him by the fourth quarter, not the first game. We measure him in increments, 4 games here, 5 games there. Everybody else we take in their totality. Why can't we take him in his totality? At the end of the day, he's batting .241. He has 73 total strikeouts and 166 at-bats. He has 4 home runs. Skip, that's not good for... If you're a power hitter and you're hitting a home run once every 42 at-bats, are you really a power hitter? No, you're not.
Well, as Luis Rojas, his manager, said, he can stand in the cage in BP and pull the ball and jack the ball. Joy and I were at his showcase. I never can remember what it's called.
They don't play in the batting cage. I go to the batting cage right now, be knocking them out the park.
I don't know about
Knock them out the park.
Not like Tebow. It was launching over at Dedeaux Field at USC on that showcase day. He was launching them over the scoreboard. He has big league power. Big league power.
And
again, they can't figure out how to get he's not getting the bat ahead of the ball. And Rojas talks
He's too muscle bound, Skip.
Maybe.
He's done too. You got to understand, Skip. he's done too much weight. He's done too much of this.
You got to get on that TB12.
Yeah.
Maybe
Get some of that Edelman. They don't even know what he on. That thing's so good, they don't even know. USDA said we ain't never seen anything like this before.
Tim doesn't need that. He doesn't need it.
But Skip, stop. Can we stop with this?
Okay, but remember, you get that AA is actually a little harder than AAA because all the hottest top prospects, all the bonus babies are all in AA.
Is it harder than MLB?
Then what?
Is it harder than
No,
MLB?
the Major League Baseball?
Yeah.
No. But he is bypassed now. He's gone up from low A to high A to AA. So he's fast tracking, man. And it's hard because he hadn't been playing the sport. And you got to give him some credit for having these surges.
No.
He's not an embarrassment. He's not overmatched.
Teacher doesn't give you an A just because you come to class every day. Perfect attendance have nothing to do with how well you study. So giving him credit because he's trying, that's not what I'm about. I don't give out stars and cookies. I got my last star when I was in kindergarten.
Okay, but if you took a 12-year-old and put him in senior high school calculus, you'd give him some passes.
No, I wouldn't. If he deserved to be there, he earned his right. As a matter of fact, I just saw a girl graduate with 2 degrees from college and high school at 14.
Okay.
Remind me of old young Shay Sharp. I could have done that.
Wait a minute. You couldn't get in Georgia.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I couldn't have done that. But I had a good stretch. I made A's on a couple of papers, Joy.
That is a good stretch. It's impressive.
Yeah, we took like 10 tests. I had like 2 A's, 7 D's, and an F. That probably explains why that probably explains why I didn't pass that class. Because Skip, you need to stop it's you, Skip Bayless, because you always done this. You take out the last 3 minutes of the ball game, he has the highest QBR.
Well, did that not count?
Yeah, but the first 57, he had the lowest QBR.
Wait, did he not take a 1-4 Denver Broncos team, quarterbacked by Kyle Orton?
Well, he needed to take
Wait, didn't he turn it into a division winner?
Well, he needed to take the
Didn't he
Skeeter
turn it into one that beat Ben Roethlisberger in a playoff game?
Skip.
Was that just like smoke and mirrors? I don't know. I saw it.
He needed to take the Skeeter Hawks to the finals in this division right here. He needed to start hitting with more power.
The Skeeter Hawks?
Yeah, whatever their name is. What is it?
Okay.
The Rumble Pony.
Rumble
Come
Pony.
on, get it right.
Skeeter
Hawks?
Yeah.
I like that, actually.
Well,
Is there a Skeeter Hawks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dragonfly, they call them Dragonfly.
Oh, okay.
We call them Mosquito Hawks.
Okay.
We used to catch them. You'd be on the clothesline, me and my cousin. But anyway, Skip Bayless, I want you to stop with this because you started this. You started this tidal wave of the Tim Tebow, and everybody hopped on, and most people have jumped off except you. You're still driving.
I'm not driving. I'm just saying there are certain people I learned you don't bet against in sports. Tom Brady is one. Tim Tebow in a different way is another guy. Just don't bet against him. I never even liked Tim Tebow until that national championship game against my Oklahoma Sooners. You remember that video of him at halftime screaming into the camera? Remember that? We're going to take the ball, we're going to go and just slam it down their throats. Do you remember that? And they did it to my Sooners. Yeah. He took over the fourth quarter. Do you remember that national championship?
P.T. Barnum, he was never going to close the circus as long as people believed he had a white elephant. Did you realize that when he actually had an albino elephant, they didn't believe it?
Shannon?
You know what he did, Joy? He went and bought some house paint and he painted a gray elephant white and they believed it. So when people believe something, they're going to come see it. They believe in him just like you do. Unfortunately, Skip.
If Tim Tebow struck out 5 times a night in AA, at some point the Mets would say, this is an embarrassment. But it's not an embarrassment.
Skip, he struck out 73 times in 166 at bat. So he
Look at these surges, though. He's had great surges, even in that Arizona Fall League against hot prospects. He had a great last month of that. They see flashes of potential. And he's the one guy. You better doubt him at your own peril. He's the guy the Mets know they could put, as a...
They're trying to sell tickets.
They could pinch hit him, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, the game to get to the World Series.
And he'd be just like the Mighty Casey.
Yeah.
A whoop, a whoop.
I don't know.
What did the Mighty Casey do, Skip, in Mudville?
What did the Mighty Timmy do in Denver?
I don't know what nobody. What he do in the Jets? In New England?
Well, he never got a
Philly.
chance. Never got a chance.
In Philly.
Never got a chance.
Why?
Never got to even start another game.
No. Another chance means you didn't get an opportunity to go on another team.
It's a shame you don't appreciate his time in Denver.
How can a quarterback who went 8-4 one year and turned the Denver Broncos into the leading rushing attack in pro football and won a playoff game, how did he never get another chance to start a game in the NFL?
Well,
Explain that.
Won the Super Bowl, just like went to the Super Bowl about 3-4 years ago, Joy. Never got another chance.
Who is that?
Well,
We know it. We call him a KAP. But anyway, Skip Bayless.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
You know and I know, Skip.
Yep.
If he goes to the majors, it's not going to be merit-based. You know that, I know that. As long as you can see that, give me that concession, Skip.
No, I won't.
Give me that concession, Skip.
It's too soon to write him off.
You know,
We're not writing him
It's not
off.
like the
Yeah,
Mets
you
are
are.
doing great anyway.
Exactly. They're trying to steal some headlines from the Yankees because they got big old Aaron Judge, all right. Giancarlo.
Up
Didi.
next, is LeBron coming to L.A.?
No mercy.
All right, welcome to Undisputed Live from Los Angeles. I'm Jamie Maggio, along with Chris Broussard, Rob Parker, and Greg Jennings. Good morning, fellas. Looking sharp this morning.
You're
What's
looking
happening?
beautiful, too.
Good morning. And you know, they
Excited.
spruced me up to make up for these two guys what they might lack as far as debate stuff.
Taking one for the team.
okay. Yeah, okay, all right.
That's a lot of spruce.
Got your hair cut and everything.
Huh? See?
All right, I see.
You guys are
They
all
couldn't
looking
take the
sharp.
gray out, though, so we'll just...
We'll work on that for tomorrow. All right, on the show today, we are going to talk about more issues with the Patriots, Lonzo and Kuzma's social media beef, and we've got a full World Cup preview, but we are going to start, fellas, this morning with LeBron James. He can opt out of his current deal and become a free agent in a couple of weeks. Now, all the speculation is about where he'll go next. The betting odds give the Sixers the second best chance to land LeBron, but Charles Barkley does not think the King would be a good fit in Philly. Take a listen.
I just want to know if he's coming to the Sixers. Why?
He's not coming to the Sixers.
Why
He's
not?
fit with the Sixers because he needs the ball. Simmons needs the ball, and Embiid needs the ball. That would make Simmons, who's going to be a stud, I think, he'd be useless. But he's not going to give the ball up at this stage of his career. He's not a great shooter, so you can't play him off the ball. He's not going to change.
Pretty good shooter in this year's playoffs.
Oh, dude, listen, I guarantee you guys will let him shoot threes all night. Guys would love him to shoot threes when it would hurt Embiid and Simmons going forward.
You don't want a useless Ben Simmons out there, that's for sure. Rob, let's start with you on this one. What do you think? LeBron and Philly, is that a good fit?
I think it's a good fit. I get Charles's point. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. I don't think there's too many perfect fits for LeBron anyway, where everything is going to be perfect. But in this case, when you have two young stars, Embiid and Simmons, you got to try to make it work. When Chris Paul went to Houston, everybody said that won't work because they both need the basketball. All they know is they ran off the best record in the league and went 7 games with the defending champs and lost in the 7th game, and Chris Paul was hurt for the final 2. So I get it. It's not perfect, but I do think if I'm LeBron, I'm going to stay in the East and team up with 2 young stars. And we saw them last year at different times when they had that thing rolling. Yep. And if LeBron is willing to make an adjustment and let Simmons be that guy to handle the basketball, I think it can work, and I think that would give him the best chance. And I also
That would be
think,
your choice, that he goes to Philly.
to Philly. And I also think, Chris, look at it from this standpoint, is that I think it presents a matchup problem with the Warriors out of all the teams, and you look at what happened. Even Cleveland out-rebounded them and dominated the boards and gave them a little bit of a, if there's one thing you could do. If you think you're going to go out there and outshoot the Warriors and play that game, it's not going to work. You're not going to beat them at that game, so that's not the game you need to try to look to set up.
Look, it's easy for us to say what we think is going to happen with LeBron, and the unknown is always out there. But I'm with Charles Barkley on this one. The more I look at this and dig deeper in it, I just don't see how it works. I understand your point in saying you have to make it work, but when you talk about usage, most people are going to think, man, Ben Simmons, his usage of the ball is probably higher than anybody on that Sixers team. Well, it's not. His usage was 22%, 84th in the league last year. Joel Embiid usage, meaning I need the ball in my hand, I have the ball in my hand, 34%. 3rd in the NBA last season. Behind who? Westbrook and James Harden.
But remember, usage rate is shooting, shots, and passes.
Absolutely.
It's not dribbling the ball.
I totally
That's
get
different.
I understand
standing there
that.
dribbling.
And then when you look at how they play, Ben Simmons and LeBron James' game is very similar. They're both pass-first guys. LeBron is obviously more of a scorer. But when I look at who needs to play off the ball, you want LeBron playing off the ball because he's a better shooter. He's not an exceptional shooter, but he's the better shooter. Ben Simmons is not a proven scorer. Forget a shooter, just a scorer in general. Can he get to the rack? Absolutely. But if he gets fouled, but if he makes his free throws,
that's
a big if.
He was 18. What do you have? 18, 8, and 8 his rookie year.
Oh, he was great.
Right?
I understand all of that. That's a big if. But then another thing that I look at that I think Charles is looking at as well is every big man that LeBron plays with ends up extending behind the three-point line. You got Chris Bosh when it went down to Miami. His presence was felt inside and out in Toronto. Got to Miami, his presence inside was almost eliminated. He became more of a perimeter guy. Kevin Love, the same can be said about him. Joel Embiid already has extended outside the three-point line, but his main presence is felt. He imposes his will on opponents when he is established in the post. And with LeBron James and Ben Simmons on the court at the same time, both are dry first guys, you need that big man to extend, and that takes away from what Joel Embiid does best, which is dominate the post.
I think this needs to be said for the audience. Charles Barkley was just stating his opinion. All right, this is not coming from LeBron telling Charles, I'm not going to, this wasn't a report. This is his opinion. And like you, I get where he's coming from. And I felt the same way until I talked to somebody that would know, close to LeBron James. And I voiced the same concerns, like, I don't want LeBron taking the ball out of Ben Simmons' hands. I don't think it would work. And this person said LeBron wants to play off the ball. I shot back. He's never played off the ball in his life. Forget the 15 years in the NBA. In his life.
He's always had the ball.
High school, he's always had the ball. This person told me that's because he's never had playmakers that make plays for other guys. Now, Dwayne Wade and Kyrie Irving obviously made plays for themselves and occasionally other guys. But they weren't playmakers, pass-first guys. And I was told with Ben Simmons, or you could extend this to Lonzo Ball if you want in L.A., that if LeBron has a teammate that will set other guys up, he would love to play off the ball. Now, that's easier said than done. A lot of people would say, just have it. Your game is your game. But Chris Paul showed us this year, he's played on the ball more than LeBron. And he was able to make the adjustment to a large degree in Houston.
And look at the success that they had.
Yeah, so I think Philly is a good fit. Look, LeBron has handled the ball maybe 60% of the time when he had Kyrie, say. I would like to see that go down to about 10% with Ben Simmons, because Simmons occasionally is good off the ball, posting up and things like that. I don't think the Embiid thing will be an issue. And I think where Charles got it wrong is he said that, he was saying LeBron's not an outside shooter, so he can't be off the ball. This is not going to be a Houston situation where you just plant LeBron on the three-point line and wait for Ben Simmons to pass him the ball. LeBron off the ball in Philly would be a little bit of post, on the wings, on the elbows, moving without the ball. And I think at this point in his career, that could save him some wear and tear. So, look, it's not a perfect fit, but what I like is, one, he stays in the East, and two, theoretically, he could lead Embiid and Simmons to the finals or maybe championships while he's still the best player in the world for maybe 2 more years.
We just saw him take the team that he took with the Cavaliers.
Well, there's no doubt they'd get to the finals. If he goes to Philly or Boston, they're getting to the finals. But as he ages and those two reach their prime, they could theoretically carry him kind of like Magic did with Kareem, and then you start racking up the titles.
LeBron is beating father time right now. I can't even think about considering wear and tear in his career because he's just shown no signs of slowing down. But do you also think it's important for him to stay in the Eastern Conference?
I think it's smart because, look, he said he's chasing the ghost of Michael Jordan, okay? One of the major arguments for LeBron in this GOAT discussion will be how many finals he's been at. He may not win 6, but if he wins 5 and he's been to 11 or 12, then that's a good argument in his case, especially if he goes to, he's been to what, 8 straight? If he goes to 9, 10 straight, which is feasible if he stays in the East, that's a big-time argument. If you can say, look, LeBron was in the finals 70% of his career. Michael Jordan was in the finals 6 out of 15 years with around 40%, whatever that is.
LeBron doesn't win anymore.
Well, he's got to win more.
That thing doesn't
But it could. I think it could even be a losing rate. It could be 5 and 6, 5 and 7, but 12 finals, 11 finals is impressive.
It can't be 3 and 9 or something of that magnitude.
No, I think staying in the East bodes well for LeBron and cementing himself as the GOAT in majority opinion.
In some people's opinion.
Some people.
He'll never. And I probably never will.
I say majority because when you have so many who has not seen or never got an opportunity to see Michael Jordan in his prime or at all, but you've seen, to your point, a guy every single year, win or lose.
No, but see,
from start to finish.
I'm not saying that's the definitive.
But it's a huge.
That'll be big.
It's a huge part of it because we constantly are talking about LeBron James from the start of the season to the end.
Being a prisoner of the moment. I know they were great players. I didn't watch Willie Mays play in his day or Babe Ruth, but I know that they were great. So I get it. This whole idea, people are acting like Michael Jordan played in the 40s. This whole notion, I mean, really? Just because LeBron is playing now?
No,
he's 3 and 6 in the finals.
Where I think where Greg makes some sense. And first of all, you sure you didn't watch Babe Ruth?
No, I didn't watch Babe Ruth. I've been around for a while.
But I think your point, and I've said it, 10, 15 years from now, if LeBron gets another ring or 2, I do think he will be regarded by many or most as the GOAT. Because here's the thing, older people, ask Oscar Robertson, ask Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, ask people of that generation. They don't say Jordan's the GOAT. But now, they don't disrespect him.
But you can't ask those guys because they're involved.
But my point is this.
Those guys are never going to give in.
Even as people that age that didn't play. My point is, we're driving the conversation right now.
Absolutely.
In 10, 15 years, the millennials, half of whom or more already think LeBron's the GOAT. They're going to be driving the conversation. If they can point to 5 rings, 11 trips to the finals, 10, 11 straight trips to the finals, they're going to feel like it's a done deal.
And my only issue with that is they're trying to convince you now without the 5 rings that he is, and he's 3 and 6. So they're just being a prisoner of the moment. They're not even looking at, and they act as if Michael Jordan won 10 scoring championships in a row. They act like it's just 6-0. When you go look, he has more MVPs, more Defensive Player of the Year awards, more steals. He has so many more things. And they look at it right now and say, oh, he's already passed.
You can't say it now. I'm just saying he's got to win a few more.
Yes.
If he wins a few more.
I think unanimously at this table, I think we all would say Jordan.
Yeah.
But to Chris's point, we are not the who will be driving this conversation in 5 years. It's not going to be you and I. So the point is, if I've watched someone from the start of the season to the very last game of the season for, let's say he plays another 4 or 5 years. For 20 years, he's done it. He's been to the finals, 8, 9
straight.
9 total. He gets to the finals 4 more times. That's 12 out of 20. Like, I've been watching this guy. You've
also seen him lose in the big moments. There was somebody who stopped me the other day in the mall and said, you know what? You finally got me. I finally gave in. I said, what? And he goes, yeah. He goes, LeBron. And even though nobody expected him to win the championship, the way it went down, there were people who soured. You've heard people you know what? I don't know if I can still make that argument with as much steam and bluster as I did prior to this NBA final.
Just for fun, should we throw out Kobe Bryant in this conversation? Because regionally,
No.
I got shut down really fast.
All-time great player, top 10
but he's
player.
Not in that conversation.
But in this town, I think people would beg to differ.
But the problem with Kobe is that Shaq was the best player on that team for when they won those 3 championships. Yeah. He was the most dominant player in the league and the best player. He wasn't even the best player on his team.
Kobe just wasn't, to me, one of the big factors in why he's not in it one, he wasn't as efficient as those two. He's like a facsimile of Michael Jordan, but just not quite as good. Never shot over 46% from the floor, and that's with Shaq drawing double and triple teams for 8 years. Then right in the heart of his prime, misses the playoffs on you. You can't even fathom LeBron not making the playoffs in the heart of his prime. So you nitpick with the greats. Kobe certainly an all-time great,
but
he's not in this discussion.
See, I don't think the number one focus has to be the championships and winning them all, because I don't think there could be another great player, let's say the best player in the sport that will clean slate the board like Jordan did. I mean, you don't see
that may be why he may remain the GOAT.
But exactly.
It's hard to see LeBron surpassing him. Even if you say he equals him, Jordan has that unblemished record, and that's why it's going to be tough.
My point exactly. You see it across sports, different sports, football, basketball.
Joe Montana, 4-0 in the Super Bowl, 11 touchdowns, no picks, 3 MVPs.
I understand that. But we're talking, and is he considered the GOAT?
Yes,
I think Brady's considered the GOAT.
By some people,
Tom Brady is considered the GOAT. Why?
You're the only one.
Why?
Eli Manning beat Tom Brady twice.
Brady's been there. Go ahead, finish your point.
It's because he's been there.
Twice as
we
much
constantly
as Joe
see
Montana.
him in the Super Bowl.
Greg,
regardless of win or lose, our expectation of Tom Brady is, man, he's going to be there again.
So, Greg, are you trying to go to the front door of the Playboy Mansion, or are you trying to get in? Which one are you?
I'm not trying to do either one.
You don't know who you're talking to.
I'm not trying to do either one.
You on your own, though. That's
My point is, Rob, most players in the league, in sports, can't even get to the pinnacle. Forget winning it all, but to say I've been there year after year after year.
Okay, and you have to win some.
You have to win some.
But to your point, that Philadelphia team would present major problems for Golden State. With the length, Embiid, you don't have to get him off the floor. He can switch out and guard the perimeter guys. How in the world would Golden State try to go small against Joel Embiid?
They couldn't.
Ben Simmons is 6'10". Dario Saric and Robert Covington can shoot threes. They're 6'8", 6'9". The key would be trying to keep J.J. Redick.
They would have to keep J.J. Redick.
And he'd have to take less money. You'd have to convince him to take less to try to win a championship.
J.J. would stay if LeBron came.
I hope so.
We say all of this. We say all of this, but we act like Golden State wouldn't make any move. Like they're just gonna stay the same.
What other moves? They got all this money tied in. What else are they gonna do?
They would have to do something. And even if they did not, there has not been one player that has been able to stop Kevin Durant. If I look at the 76ers right now as they are, you add LeBron James, they still have no one that can stop Kevin Durant.
Well, nobody's stopping him, but you could put Robert Covington on him, who's a good defender. Ben Simmons was actually a really good defender this year. I mean, you can have options.
You can throw bodies.
And what you would try to do is switch. Yeah, you throw bodies at him. You're switching a lot of things. But look, you mentioned he's been to 8 straight. If he goes to Philly, like I said, by himself with those two talented players, you would think they're going to win what? The next 3 Eastern Conference titles? But then those two are so young that they're going to get better. And even as LeBron ages, I mean, theoretically, they could go another 5 straight years.
Absolutely.
Him in the finals. And if he can just win two of them or something, then you got a major argument.
I like the idea of it. I don't love the idea of it. I mean, I think we're pretty much just slapping the Boston Celtics in the face. I mean, come on now. Don't just act like they're going to lay down and say, if LeBron goes over here, we can't beat this team.
No, they won't.
Because, in my opinion, they have the X factor in Brad Stevens. That is...
Brad Stevens is the X factor.
Absolutely.
So what happened in Game 7?
Hold on.
You just said that on TV.
LeBron James. No, I get what you're saying because he's a great coach.
When
you watch on that Philly team,
put
and
Bron,
you would favor them.
Favor who? The Celtics?
No, favor you would. If LeBron's in Philly, you would favor Boston.
I would favor the 76ers. Okay. I'm just saying we're acting as if
they'd be tough.
It wouldn't be a tough out.
I'm with you.
Like the six,
they would be tough. But you saw first of all, that Philly-Boston series could have been 4-1 the other way. What did Philly lack? A closer. The veteran leadership in the clutch. I think Brett Brown's a pretty good coach. He got out-coached, no doubt, by Brad Stevens, but I think he's pretty good. But think if LeBron is there, that's the closer they need. That's that veteran leader they need. And, again, veterans who may want to try to win a title might go there to play.
The other part, too, last year, if you remember when Embiid got hurt, Ben Simmons led them to 15 straight wins. I look at stuff like that. If I'm LeBron, I look at this guy with your big guy. He's that guy. You know what I mean? It's so hard to win 15 games in a row with your big guy going down. So it tells me about him. Things didn't fall apart. That's the team. I'm with you. Long term could be really, really good.
Who are they playing in those?
It doesn't matter. It's the schedule called the NBA.
It was a little. It was a little light.
But
wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is Rob Parker saying it doesn't matter?
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did say that.
They won 15 in a row. I don't care if it was the Nets and the Knicks.
Here's a factor, too. Now, look, I think LeBron is probably going to the Lakers because I think that gives you the best combination of family considerations and opportunity to win. I would like my preference. That's where I think. I don't know, but that's where I think he probably is going. My preference would be Philly. Secondly, Boston. Because that's a whole nother discussion. He could go to Boston and make them really good, but I'd like to see him stay in the East. But one factor we haven't considered that LeBron may consider, we know he likes to have control. He likes to get involved with the front office decisions, personnel decisions, all that. Guess who doesn't have a GM now? Philadelphia. If he wanted, he might be able to handpick a GM, whether it's David Griffin or whoever, to go to Philadelphia.
Absolutely.
So that could be another factor in their favor.
Yeah. What do you think is the most important factor for LeBron as he makes this decision?
It should be about what gives him the best chance to win. The family thing, I hear all that, and I get it. You know, when you have a family, you want them to be comfortable, and the kids go in high school, and I get all that. But you only have a small amount of years to come to the Lakers as is. Now, if you're telling me he's bringing 2 other guys and you're scrapping the team that you
wouldn't go by himself.
That's totally different. But I'm saying to come here just to live in L.A. and play with the Lakers, I just don't see that. It would have to be where the roster's reconstructed and he's bringing the guys
or you just bring at least one more star.
You got it.
I don't know.
He wouldn't come by himself. Well, we'll get to that.
We'll get to that. That's your tease right there. We will get to that. Would it be a mistake for the Patriots to trade Gronk? We will discuss that next.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. Join us again at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Monday for another full week of Undisputed. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports 1 of 1.